Welcome one and all. I love science. I may not be a witch, but here I am. I am the Science Witch, and just like I promised, I am back with my Papyton headcanon video that is well overdue, even though I just did my Papyton one about a week ago. Anyway, after last night's Septiplier headcanon video being 17 minutes long, I'm gonna try and go a little bit quicker through the headcanon since I have about the same amount for Papyton as I do for Septiplier, maybe even a little bit more. That being said, let's get started. Number 1. Who texts first in the morning? Papyrus. It's like, I always picture Papyton being a very late sleeper, but once he starts dating Papyrus, that all completely changes because Papyrus always texts or calls him in the morning, same time every single day. He calls his boyfriend, says hi, and just kind of like, I can kind of see him just calling up and be like, "Hi Papyton, love you," and just hanging up. That's it. Or something like that, where he just talks, and that kind of wakes up Papyton, and that's how he gets ready. He listens to Papyrus talk. So definitely Papyrus would text or call in the morning. Number 2, who likes wearing the other shirt? That's obviously Papyton. I like, the minute I read this headcanon, I thought it was going to be Papyton because just imagine Papyton walking out of Papyrus's room and like Sans is on the couch or something, but he's wearing Papyrus's cool dude shirt. And Sans, like, if you like overprotective brother Sans is kind of like, okay, and it's like, you know, the telekinesis and whatever. Or, I mean, it's really supportive, chill Sans would kind of just be like nice, or he just wouldn't mind at all. But I feel like Papyton would wear all of Papyrus's shirts. Like, Papyrus would be like, "Sans, have you seen any of my shirts?" And it's like, no, and then he goes to Papyton's, and all of his shirts are there. And Papyton's kind of like guilty as charged. Papyton wears all of Papyrus's shirts all the time. Sweatshirts, costumes, he just wears all of Papyrus's stuff because despite Papyrus being a skeleton, they're warm. And being in Snowdin and being made out of metal, depending on whether you think Papyton would be able to react to temperature, if he could, then he would probably wear a lot of Papyrus's clothes to stay warm. Papyrus would probably be used to Snowdin by now, so he'd just let Papyton wear all his clothes. But deep down he thinks it's really adorable. Number 3. Who falls asleep mid-conversation? Papyton, again. It would be Papyton because, this is kind of like a headcanon that my friend Quinn told me about. It was basically, it was based off a comic. I don't know who made the comic, and I'm sorry if I don't have a source, but the comic basically had Papyton and Papyrus cuddling in Papyrus's race car bed, and he's basically like asking Papyton as Papyton's trying to recharge. He's like, "Do you want something to drink? Would you like a bowl of spaghetti?" And then Papyton's like, "Pappy, honey, I need to sleep. I have a show tomorrow." And then he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I could make you a glass of warm milk. That'll put you right to sleep." And like Papyton just gets so pissed off, and I just thought that was really cute. So I mean, like I could see Papyrus keeping Papyton up really late because like they're like talking, and Papyrus kind of talks a lot, headcanon wise. But Papyrus would kind of like just chew Papyton's ear off, in a sense, and Papyton would just end up falling asleep. He has his head on his hand, and then he falls asleep, and just face falls right on the table. That would be real. That would be funny. And at one point, when Papyton does fall asleep, Papyrus is like, "Papyton, are you listening to me?" My Papyrus voice is absolute shit. I can't do any voices at all because my voice is just jack shit. So sorry if people would get get angry at my Papyrus voice because it's bad. Anyway, number 4. This is a question just like the one that I asked yesterday in my Septiplier video. Who asks weird questions in the middle of the night? This one I'm saying Papyrus because it corresponds with the who falls asleep mid-conversation. It corresponds like that because Papyrus would wake up. Again, that comic was basically Papyrus keeps waking up Metaton with some kind of question or asking if he needs anything. He's being a really, like, caring boyfriend and everything, which, I mean, that's good, but honey, you gotta let Metaton get his beauty sleep. That makes total sense. But, I mean, Metaton had to recharge, so, but Papyrus would kind of just, like, wake him up and, like, where do the lesser dogs keep all their neck? Or is that greater dog? Where do the dogs keep all of their neck? It's like, Pappy, honey, I don't know. Go to bed. He's like, but I have to know! And it's like, oh, Papyrus. Papyrus's babe. I love Papyrus. He's a sweetheart. Number 5. Who steals all the blankets? Papyrus. It's kind of like a thing where, he doesn't realize he's doing it until Metaton confronts him about it. Like, it's probably like after the first couple nights of them, like, staying together. Like, Papyrus kind of, like, pulling all the blankets off, like, on his bed and kind of just pulls them off. And Metaton's just like... But again, if Metaton doesn't react to temperature, then he wouldn't mind and he wouldn't notice. But if he does, then he might. And it's also a headcanon for me that Papyrus moves around a lot in his sleep because he seems very energetic and as like a polar opposite to Sans, who's like a rock. Papyrus would move around a lot, and that might end up frustrating Metaton a little bit, but that's besides the point. Number 6. Who does the grocery shopping? Papyrus used to be the one to go out to get groceries at the beginning of their relationship, like if they end up moving in together or like they Metaton just kind of, like, is at their house a lot. Metaton ends up going grocery shopping all the time because Papyrus only buys spaghetti. That's literally it. Like, he comes to their house and he's like, okay, it's gotta make Papyrus something to eat. Goes into the pantry or wherever they keep their food, and it's all boxes of pasta. All spaghetti boxes, and he's like, it would be, he would, and then from that day on, he buys Papyrus all of his meals. A lot of spaghetti, because, you know, Papyrus goes with him, but, he buys him a lot of other food and stuff, too. Gotta get that calcium for those bones. Number 7. How often do they decorate for the holidays? They decorate for every single holiday. It could be, like, once they get to the surface and find out about all these other holidays, because I know they have Christmas, but they would decorate the shit out of the place. Like, people would come from all over the place to see their house because it's just ridiculous. There's, like, their electricity bill for the month of December would be off the charts because Metaton would leave that shit on constantly. And Papyrus would be just as enthusiastic, and they would decorate for Halloween, they decorate for Christmas, Easter, what other holidays would be? Thanksgiving, holidays they don't celebrate, like, different Jewish holidays and everything. Veterans Day, they'd be like, I don't know what a veteran is, but let's hang these everywhere! If they lived in America, which I highly doubt, but they would just have so many different holidays. Like, their house would always be decorated. It'd be a very, very rare occasion that they ever have an undecorated house. I imagine what ends up happening is like if they do end up like if they're still in the underground, it's at Sans and Papyrus's house. Sans leaves to go to Grillby's for like an hour and comes back and it's just lights everywhere. There's freaking Christmas music playing and he's like, Papyrus, what are you doing? Christmas isn't for another 3 months. I feel so bad for Sans. I would feel terribly for Sans. But he's like, he kind of just like lets Papyrus do his thing because he sees how much his brother really enjoys doing it, and he lets him have fun because he likes to see his brother happy. I was gonna mention something about the genocide run, but I'm just not going to because spoilers. But I mean, if you're watching this video, then I'm pretty sure you've either played or seen someone else play the game. Papyrus would be the one to have a 20-foot Santa Claus blow up. And like, Sans would be like, oh no. It's so funny. Ah, my boys, my skeleton boys, and Mettaton. I love them. I love them so much. I love them so much. This video is way off topic right now. Anyway, I think that's 8. Yeah. What is their greatest fear about the other? Now this one is a little bit sad, a bit sadder, because it kind of brings out their insecurities a lot, and it took me a while to come up with a headcanon for their fears for one another. Well, more for Mettaton than Papyrus, because you can kind of tell what Papyrus would be afraid of if this kind of thing would happen, because of how Papyrus is always like really wants to make friends, and here he is, he finally has a great friend and a great boyfriend, and he's terrified that that Mettaton is going to get tired of him and not be his friend anymore, or his boyfriend. He's just scared that Mettaton's gonna lose interest, or he's a show host, and he's famous, and Papyrus would basically be like, oh yeah, I'm the great Papyrus, but I'm just Papyrus. And I feel like it would kind of bring him down at times, because he would get really, really scared of losing someone who he cares and loves so much. And it would be so terrible if anything were to happen to Papyrus, because he is the biggest, sweetest, most pure cinnamon roll I have ever had the pleasure of laying my eyes on. He is so sweet, and anyone who would do him wrong is making a huge mistake. Because I mean, spoilers, like he says in the genocide run, even as you're about to kill him, he still believes in you, and he still has hope for you. Giving up someone like that is the biggest mistake you could ever make. Now, with Mettaton, it would sort of be, similar. See, like, what I see is that Mettaton is a narcissist, but I think he's a narcissist in a way, like, from how I've seen him portrayed in a lot of different fan works. Mettaton is very narcissistic, but he still has his own image issues. Like, he's afraid that, who he really is, and not who he is on TV, is going to disappoint Papyrus, and once they are, domestic and everything, it's that Papyrus is going to be disappointed, or not, like, and treat him differently. Or there's also, like I just said, it's also the part that Mettaton would be afraid of Papyrus only liking him because he's a show host. And I don't think that's the case. I don't think Papyrus would like Mettaton just because he's a show host. Because, I mean, when you talk to him about Mettaton, he doesn't necessarily say anything like, oh wow, he's my favorite TV show host. And he's like, he's my favorite sexy rectangle. And it's like, okay, Papyrus. And he even though he does like call him sexy and whatever, I don't think that necessarily means that he's just going to like Mettaton because of his looks or because of his reputation. I think he would really, like, the relationship would start because, or his interest would start because he thinks Mettaton is a sexy rectangle and how confident he is on TV and everything. But I think that once Papyrus sees Mettaton for who he is, he's just going to love him more. Because that's just the kind of person Papyrus is. They really have nothing to be worried about, but both of them find their insecurities to be very, not lackluster or something, but be very, they're really, really difficult to ask one another about. It's really difficult to talk about, and I feel like it would have to come up in the conversation, a very, very specific conversation, for them to talk about it. And I feel like it would kind of end with just emotional cuddling and cuteness and stuff. They're precious. I love Papyton. So, this has been my Papyton headcanon video. And after this, I'm going to be up to schedule with my schedule. And I'll be putting up another ship analysis sometime next week. So, keep look out for that. If you want to know when it comes out, you can subscribe. But I'll be putting that out sometime next week, and that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for taking your time to watch this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, take a stab at that like button, and I hope to see each and every one of you sometime in the future. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Bye!